right, y'all. Check 1 2, check 1 2. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. If not, just leave me a comment in the comment box so that I know that you guys just see my mouth moving and my and not hearing anything. So welcome, guys. It is Sunday, and we are doing Circle Talk today, which I hope you guys are excited for. I got two of Tacoma's finest and fastest runners in the building. I want to first talk about my boy Pat Boy. I know Pat Boy forever, since I was in diapers, like yay high, and we go way way back. New Jerusalem Church of God in Christ, representing. And his father was a father to not only me but every one of the children that came up in the church. Me and Pat and his family, we've known each other, we've loved each other. I was telling Marcus earlier, I even got a picture of me, him, and my brother on my fridge right now. So I'm excited to talk with him and catch up. And also we have Marcus Chambers. You guys, if you guys have not heard of Marcus Chambers, he's one of the fastest dudes in the hill. made his presence felt at Foss High School. Graduated from Foss, went to Oregon, University of Oregon. Shout out to the Ducks for beating my Huskies last night. Put it on them, that ground and pound. And we're just excited to see what's going on next. Even ran for the U.S. And is getting ready for his next journey, which is obviously he's going to probably go for the Olympics again, I'm sure. He's been doing his training, and I'm excited to see what these brothers got in store for everybody. So let's go ahead and bring them on. But before we do, we want to give a huge shout out to our sponsors, iShotTo.com. If you guys need anybody to do any pictures locally in the area, he'll do whatever pictures you need. Graduation headshots, senior portraits, family portraits. Both of these pictures right here were taken by him, my friend Marvin Patterson. He will make sure that happens for you. We have Icon ENT, my guy, Will Thomas. Thank you so much for continuing to support and be a huge part of what we're doing here at Circle Talk. And then finally, thechaya.com. If you guys have not checked out the Chaya movement, please go do that. My girl Sagia is working really hard to try and provide, turn rags to riches and provide it for people that are really in need of those type of things. So thechayamovement.com, look them up. So thank you again to all the sponsors. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring these brothers in and let's get into the conversation. We have Marcus Chambers, Pat Boyd. Let's go. What up, PAT?
Hello, hello.
Let me fix this because, I want to be in the middle of this equation. Y'all, welcome so much. I appreciate you guys for being here, man. How y'all been doing?
Hanging in the struggle now that COVID has been lifted, but still breathing and doing good. So work doesn't stop with me.
How about you, Marcus?
Yeah. I'm doing well, getting back to the grind here in this last month. So I'm doing good. I'm fully healthy and I'm good.
So, like I said to both of you guys before, I've never done a three-way like this before. It's usually like me and one person, we just conversate. So I'm just going to be bouncing questions off of the both of you guys. I don't have nothing written down. This is all on the fly. That's how I put it down. So expect it to be the unexpected. That's what it is.
We good.
So first off, Marcus, man, let's jump into you, bro. Let us know a little bit about your upbringing, man. Like you from Tacoma, homegrown.
Yeah, I'm from Tacoma, born and raised, 253. The only time I was not in Tacoma was when I was off at college at the University of Oregon.
Yeah.
Growing up, I was a hooper at heart, and then slowly but surely enough, one of the common themes of my life with my sports teams, I was always the fastest kid on the team. And so once I got a little bit older, with Pat kind of getting on me, my grandma kind of getting on me, both of them kind of helped me give track and field a try. And once I kind of got into the sport, I truly started to learn what it was really about. And I'm not going to lie, I was pretty good at it, but I really, truly love the sport. And I got into it, and sky's the limit from there. I don't know how deep you want me to start off, but just the general.
That's good, bro. That's good. Jump into it.
Yeah.
I mean, because people need to know. A lot of for those that don't know, like myself, I didn't know that you was big into the hoop game, and I didn't really know that Pat was big into the hoop game either. I knew he was big, but I never actually seen him on the court until he showed me this picture. I was like, bro, you used to play hoop? Were you good? Tell us about it. How long did you play hoops?
I played basketball. I started, to be honest, I didn't start until my sophomore year. So I actually played, I played in 8th grade at Lockburn Junior High, got a feel for it. And then obviously just wanted to improve and get better, obviously make the high school team, become on varsity and things of that nature. But because at that time we didn't have, a lot of AAU programs that are out like today, my skill set was more out in the playground, battling those guys, wherever there was a pickup game and just trying to pick up my skills there. So I ended up making the team at high school. I made it at Lincoln, then I transferred and went to Clover Park. Made the team at Clover Park my junior and senior year. So I had a little bit experience, but if I had that IQ and, the development of a program like there is today, I probably would have went further because that was my first actual dream. Everybody wanted to be like Mike, and I wanted to be just like him too. But then obviously a talent that I actually recognized that was natural, being in the family, a track athlete.
Yeah.
I segued over it and did that, and the rest was history.
Man, your dad ran track, right?
That is correct.
Yeah,
Ran it and
absolutely.
coached
What's
it.
up?
Yeah. And so taken after of my dad, obviously being one of the pillars in Tacoma, started out at Hunt
Yeah.
Middle School.
Yeah.
And then transferred over into Lincoln at 1984. And actually, to be honest, nobody really talks about this, but I'm going to officially put it out there for Tacoma. The Tacoma Invite, which was a huge, popular track and field invite back in the day that started many, many years ago. My dad was the one that actually had spearheaded that and actually got that to be one of the most prestigious track and field invitationals to come to back in the day. So before it was anything else, the Tacoma Invite, that was state before state.
Absolutely.
And so my dad, he doesn't get the flowers, that he deserved from that, but to be one of the first, African-American coaches in the Tacoma Hilltop area to not only just help facilitate and put that together, but it was one of the most prestigious track and field invitationals back then. And so I'm appreciative. And now that I understand the legacy that he left behind, that's something that I'm proud. Didn't even really know until probably 3 years ago. Looking into the history of that. So that's a good thing.
But you already know your dad was a huge pillar in the community, period.
Oh yeah.
Not just from church, because your dad was always Papa to everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was always Papa. But I mean, I even remember when I ran track, which is interesting. We all have. That's how I knew this connection would work, because at one point I ran track too. I'm a lot older than both of you guys, but
right.
I ran track too. And I remember your dad, he used to be at all the major meets.
Yeah.
It seemed like he was always there.
Yeah.
And so that's interesting to me that, I already knew. I was like, Pat, he definitely has the look of a runner. He had that runner look.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily fast, but I knew with them long legs, it was going to be hard to catch him once he started going. You know what I'm saying? Because your dad was just an amazing person, and he always strived to get the best from everybody.
Right.
So I was very appreciative for the things that he did. I remember doing a track meet one year, and I ran the 100 and the 400 and the 4x4.
Right.
He was at the meet, and I was like, "What's up?" You never see him in that era. You're so used to seeing him every Thursday, Friday, Sunday at church.
Right.
But then to actually see him, have a yellow top on, black pants, walking around just kind of evaluating everything. It was like, okay, I see. He actually does come out of the church.
Right.
Does other things with himself. So that was kind of cool. But let's jump back over here to Marcus, because I want to make sure that we touch on Marcus and his journey. So you started running track in high school, or was it middle school when you finally decided that you wanted to get into it?
Freshman year of high school. Yep.
Okay. And were you running track and playing ball at the same time? Because I know ball.
I was playing at AU and doing track my first 2 years. So I didn't fully commit to track and field until after my sophomore year. My sophomore year, I decided to make a decision to go to Las Vegas and play in the AAU basketball tournament during track season. And freshman year, I took fourth at state, and so coming at fourth at state, I lost to 3 seniors. So I came in sophomore year thinking, I'm about to torch everybody. I'm good. I'm thinking that everybody's going to get torched. I'm going to demolish everybody. Yeah. So I still thought but my heart was still in basketball. But my heart did love track, but it's just that basketball love just couldn't go away. And at the time, it was like an important year, and I had people in my head saying, you still need a hoop if you want a scholarship. So I decided to go to Las Vegas during track season. I didn't tell Pat. I didn't tell none of my coaches. I just left. Yeah. And I left on a day that there was a track meet. And I'm literally at the airport getting phone calls from my coach Ed. And
where
I'm
you
like,
at?
oh boy, I'm just, I'm in high school. I'm just gonna ignore it. Being a high school kid, you just gotta let that go. But the first game, I probably didn't even play more than 5 minutes. I stubbed my big toe against another opponent. And for anybody that knows about a big toe, you need it to run, jump, or sprint. Like, you just need it. And so that was like kind of my learning moment, because I ended up being out like three and a half weeks.
Yeah.
And in track and field, that's a lot of time to just not do anything.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But luckily, with my natural ability, I was still able to make it to state. I'm not gonna lie. And when I got to state, I made it to the state finals. But in the state finals, I lost by probably the distance of my pinky. You know, like literally, like this dude, Marquin Russell. I always remember that moment.
Yeah.
Like he got me. Like, but honestly, it was probably what I needed.
Yeah.
It was my humbled moment, because at the end of the day, I was mad, but I wasn't mad at anybody but myself, because that was my first learning moment of, all right, if you truly want to win something or do something, you got to be fully committed. I wasn't fully committed in the track and field. I just thought I had the swagger and the natural gift
and
to
you
just
could
win
make
state,
it happen.
you know?
Yeah.
And that natural ability is only going to get you so far. And so that's kind of right after that moment, I decided to do summer track instead of AAU basketball, and then sky's the limit from there. That's when we started to take off.
Awesome. So when did you guys decide that this connect was going to be official and you guys were going to ride together, you know, coach and runner, teaming up, making sure that this happened? Have you guys always been, you know, neck and neck, or you guys just, when did that all start for you guys?
I mean,
what's so funny?
I mean, Pat can tell you how we kind of got started in him trying to get me into track and field. But he's been with me from the jump. Ever since I committed to the sport of track and field, Pat's been with me. When it comes from the highs, when it comes to the lows, it doesn't matter. Pat's been the one person there with me through everything. So I mean, it's just been natural.
And that story, I'm glad that it comes out, because I've been wanting to tell this story, and I promise you, your show is going to go skyrocket after this, because a lot of people have been speculating, wanting to know, how did this happen? And so I'm going to sum it up real quick, because Marcus is kind of tired of hearing it, but I've been waiting for this moment, because when it started, Marcus, like you said, playing basketball, and I tell you what, phenomenal basketball player, okay? If you know, being a Sonics fan back in the day, Gary Payton, that's who you were dealing with right there. That was Gary Payton. Marcus Chambers was Gary Payton. He would blanket you as soon as you get off the bus. He was an all-team defensive player for the Narrows as a freshman. Led his team, you know, obviously in steals, and one of the leading scorers, and was first-team Narrows as well. So the sky was the limit, and I saw that. The team that we were associated with at that time was an AAU team, and they had, you know, obviously put out Avery Bradley, who came from Tacoma. So he's, you know, doing his thing with the Lakers right now. And so, you know, being in that category, I saw Marcus, and I saw something in him to where he had the ability, but I saw something different because he was fast on the court. And so the way that it happened, Marcus wasn't the guy that I liked in the beginning. I came out coaching as a substitute for a friend, and it was the end of the season, I guess. So they were just fulfilling their AAU team tournament, and they were just out there to play. Now, when you're a kid, you always want to score when you get the ball. That's everybody's, you know, opportunity. Marcus was the complete opposite. Every time Marcus touched the ball, he'd give the ball up because he was tired of people calling his name. Here, you shoot it. Marcus would have an attitude. And I'm like, dude, what is wrong with you? Like, you guys are killing.
Yeah.
And I couldn't understand that. So we had a team talk afterwards. And, you know, the coach is, you know, saying whatever. I was like, let me talk, because I want to get to that boy right there. And I was mainly wanting to talk to Marcus, because I'm like, dude, I don't care who you think you are. You ain't gonna make it with that attitude. Not on my team. And, you know, Marcus, whatever. You know, he was that, you know, had that type. I don't got to listen to you. So I called Antoine. I was the coach at the time. And I'm like, who is this light-skinned kid that's over here talking, thinking that he just got it all figured out? I was like, man, he don't know. But the whole time, Antoine was like, man, you got to understand, Marcus is special. And I'm looking at, man, I'm special. What are you talking about? He going to learn. He's going to learn today. And so, make a long story short, we get out there, and I told him, I said, hey, man, you could do something in this track thing, man. This is, you know, this is something. Have you ever thought about doing that? And he was like, yeah, I kind of ran it in middle school. People say that I'm fast, but, you know, fast forward, we get to the point of, I'm coaching now with the basketball team, and we're out here at practice. We got a set of suicides to do, okay? Down and back, the sprint to the baseline and sprint back.
Yeah.
So I said, who wants to race? Now in springtime, of course, at my age, being 26, 27 at the time, I'm still jumping out the gym. I could, it's easy. And they were like, man, stop dunking all over the place. I said, well, who wants to race? Everybody's eyes lit up. And Marcus, oh, what's up? And so I seen him, and I said, okay. And everybody's been talking about Marcus being fast, so I'm like, okay. My thing being a track coach, I'm always going to outrun these little middle schoolers. Nobody is ever going to outrun me. That was part of my reason of getting their attention to listen to me, so then I can go ahead and show them the true stuff that they need to know.
Absolutely.
Back forward, we're getting ready to race. This is what triggered me with Marcus, and this is what started it off. He's sitting in this little track stance, got a little karate stance, with, I could tell he's watching Carl Lewis videos. So he's got his arms up, ready to go. I said, okay, I'm going to give him a nice grown man three-point stance, and I'm going to show him what this speed truly looks like with technique. I swear, this is no lie.
Okay.
I take off. The first two steps, it's a usual pattern. Head down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You put your head up. Twan says go. 1, 2, and then I seen a whole body just fly right by me with a blur. I swear it was a false start, just the way it looked up. Pick my head up, and Marcus is already hightailing, ripping his hamstrings. He's already at the full court mark. I'm just now coming past the half court at the free throw line. He's already making his way back. I'm like, oh, man, you talk about humble beginning. Mm-hmm. So when I came back at the end and everybody, oh, coach lost, and they're high-fiving, and Marcus, I'm seeing the joy in his face, and he's just like, and I said, okay, my thing is, if you beat him, coach him, and that's where it all began.
That's awesome. That's a great story too, man. That humbleness, gave you a little piece of that humble pie.
Humbled by a seventh grader. That told me a lot. He said, you know what? You should run track. And so from that point, we started to, he came out and he actually turned out for track. I ended up being a coach at Foss High School, and I seen him coming out, turning out. And I said, what are you doing? And for whatever reason, he said, well, I'm going to come out and I'm going to try this track thing. Mm-hmm. He ended up coming out, took fourth at state as a freshman in lane 8, okay? Didn't really know the nuances of everything that was going on. So I said, hey, we can actually do something next year, and we can actually be great. So I started coaching him that following year at Foss. And like he said, he missed the meet, went down to Vegas. I didn't know. And that meet was, it was so crucial because Marquin Russell ran a 49.14 and Marcus ran, a 49.11. Marcus ran a 49.14. If Marcus didn't miss those 3 weeks, we would have won it, and we would have been a 3-time state champ. But, lessons learned. We understood that, so we came back the following year. Now Marcus definitely knows, and he has a chip on his shoulder, so we already know it's hands down. We're going to win state. It's just how are we going to do it? And throughout that process, it was another challenge because when you're young, you're trying to prove yourself, a young African-American in the community, trying to do the right things. There's going to be some people that's going to look at your past, or they're going to try to pick things about you to make you look like, you're not that guy. And I went through that his whole junior year, being a young coach, quote unquote unexperienced. He's just, riding the accolades of Marcus. He's not really a coach. I mean, it was heartbreaking, and to the point to where certain coaches in the Tacoma School District put together a little form to try to sabotage me, and they somewhat succeeded by having me, suspended from being at the state championships to support Marcus, all off false allegations and things that they didn't even know about. That I can talk about that later on. But to make a long story short, that wasn't negating or stopping Marcus from what he had to do, because he knew exactly where he was at. I gave him. We ended up winning state his first time as a freshman. Ran a 47.40, I think that's what it was. And then the 200, he ran 21.8. And so 2 times state championship that junior year. So now we made a bigger sacrifice. And I told Marcus, hey, do you want to be good or do you want to be great? And he says, I want to be great. All right, we're going to not play basketball this year. We're going to forfeit your basketball season, and we're going to concentrate strictly on track. He did that, and he absolutely succeeded. We took a serious training during the indoor season, missing basketball season. Coaches was pissed off because, the fact that Marcus wasn't playing, but, hey, they didn't understand that there was a greater purpose because of what I saw Marcus do and the way that he won it without me that junior year. Mm-hmm. We're going to go after the record. We're going to go after Juwan Hooker, the guy that set it off. You remember that guy, Juwan Hooker back in Ellington. And so he was the guy that, ran a 21-26, and then he ran a 46-24 in high school, and I was there. And so I remembered that, and I said, you know what? We're going to go after this guy, Juwan Hooker. We're going to set history. And Marcus believed in that, and we went so hard in the training and to the point to where you can look it up on YouTube, Star Trek 2013. Marcus Chambers ran the fastest 400 meter time in this millennium since 2000. He's ran a 46:30. We set history. Awesome. We were short, though. We were just 0.6 of a second short from Juwan Hooker. But Juwan found out about that, gave his kudos and props to Marcus through a friend of mine. And, we continued to build. And I said, it's not over yet. We're going to go strictly to college, and we're going to achieve more from what we've done. And up to that point, Marcus made his decision going to Oregon, and we had a ball the next 4 years.
Yeah. Yes, you guys have both talked about situations where you had chips or you had situations happen that really were like motivational movements for you. Like Marcus, you talked about deciding against the track meet and going to play basketball in Vegas and stubbing your toe, and how huge, how big that was for your next journey, which was maybe basketball isn't it. Track is where I should probably stay focused. And with you, Pat, you had people that were like, oh, Pat's not necessarily a coach. He's riding somebody else's coattail to try and get to where he is. And then they basically not allow you to be a part of the tournament, right?
Right.
Is that what you were saying?
That is correct.
Mm-hmm. So what is your main motivation? What is the one thing that you guys did? I mean, obviously I heard a lot of the story, but what is the one thing that you thought of after these things happened and you knew that the next step was to rise above this situation? What is something that you can say you keyed on? Like for example, your toe was messed up. You said, I'm gonna stay off the court. I'm gonna stay off the court. I'm gonna focus on my moves, my steps, to get better, even while my foot is down. Or you were or Pat, you decided you were going to follow the instructions, stay out the way for now, but coach behind the scenes and continue to say, remember all the things that these people were saying about me. We're going to be better. We're going to do better. We're going to rise above that. What is one key thing that you guys can say you guys did? Either one of you guys can go first.
Trust. I mean, the fact that when I talked with Marcus before we got to this point in track and field, I gave him me before we even got to that common bond. Because once again, if you remember, I didn't like Marcus. I was ready to take my belt, whoop him crazy. Because I'm like, boy, you need to be humble, boy. You ain't got it. You ain't got the answer, Sway. And that's how I felt. But then afterwards, just knowing, I've talked to a lot of kids and they've always responded. But for this particular person, Marcus, just being a challenge, and for him to respond after the headbutt and the way that we began, it just told me something. And then to go through something like this where people, because actions speak louder than words, people were saying all this stuff, but the people that actually knew, they saw my actions and everything like that. They know that that's not even the case, because there was more than just one Marcus. I had Shelton Sampson. I've got a girl right now, Jasmine Sativa, that's running over here at Pierce College. I've had plenty. Daenerys Jones, who's a head coach over here at Loyola up in Chicago. So I got a whole bunch of kids that I've inspired. I don't want to leave any names out because I'm just brain farting, but that's what did it for me, as far as just him trusting me, and not only trusting me, but listening to the things that I told him. I was sending him YouTube videos. He's watching it, coming back and responding. And so there was a bigger connection, and organically, it just automatically just became something that we knew we can do together to shut the crowd up, because Marcus saw what I was going through as a coach, and the naysayers that was talking behind my back, he knew good and well how to, solve that and shut that all up.
So
and he
PAT,
did.
real quick, I don't mean to cut you off, but PAT, how did you respond when you found out what happened to him at in Vegas?
Oh man,
I was
man,
hot,
look,
bro. I
I
was
was
hot.
I
Tell
didn't
me.
even he didn't. I told you he didn't tell me. I was so ticked off. He was like,
I
I
didn't
said,
call
"Where's
Pat.
Marcus? Where's Marcus?" And we were going against Timberline, and
Yeah.
there was a crucial guy that I recruited from Timberline because I was getting ready to have this ultimate summer 4x4 team. So Marcus was still doing basketball, and when I found out that he was in Vegas, oh, I was irritated. But okay, that's fine. He'll be back next week. But then when I found out that he got hurt,
Yeah.
oh man, it was irritating. So
Bad.
I shook it, and I still believe, based upon what was taught to me, because I had a great mentor in Shelman Simpson who
Mhm.
taught me the game. And I told Marcus, without him, you wouldn't even have met me because he's the guy that made me. And I'm going to instill everything that he instilled in me, and I'm going to give it to you. And I promise you, you're going to be the best in the state. And he did that.
And what about you, Marcus?
For me, trust was a big key. But with that whole Vegas experience for me, it was really just about understanding what dedication truly meant. I think that's
Absolutely.
what truly helped me get to where I'm at today. That dedication piece, the hard work. Like anybody can look at me and anybody can see me train. Hard work has never been a question. Whether
Right.
it's Pat coaching me, whether whoever's coaching me or telling me what to do, I'm gonna do it to the best of my ability. But that's only gonna get you so far.
Yeah.
When I fully committed to track and field, when I told Pat like I will not do another sport, I will get my sleep, I will do whatever I need to do. We didn't lose for 2 years. We didn't
Absolutely.
lose my junior and senior year, and I'm telling you, including the summertime, I was the fastest dude in the nation for 2 years.
Yeah.
I went after my senior year. I went to Medellin, Colombia, to compete for USA for the first time in my life. So and I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't fully dedicate to the sport of track and field. So
Absolutely.
for me, it was trusting Pat, which I had all the trust in the world with him. We
Yeah.
just had that bond because the one thing with me and Pat, we don't do stuff just to do it.
Right.
We work to be the best. And
Absolutely.
yeah, we're from Tacoma. Nobody really knows about Tacoma. When people think of
Yeah.
Washington, they think of Seattle.
Yeah.
Right.
Everybody thinks the fastest people come from Texas. They come from Florida, the
Yeah.
big cities. We're just, Pacific Northwest, a small place, but we don't care.
No.
Right.
That's why when I my
Absolutely.
my senior year, we went to California to the best high school meet in the nation. They put me in lane 9. I wasn't even supposed to be in the fast heat. They didn't even
Yeah.
say my name. And during the track meet, they call out all the names of the track meets. They
Yeah.
called out lane 1 through 8. They did not say
Yeah.
my name at all.
Wow.
But what happened? I won. I torched
Mhm.
everybody. And so it's just like we don't care about what anybody thinks of us. We just have that drive to be the best whenever we decide to do something. And I think that's what made us be great.
Absolutely, man. That's awesome. So tell us about the meet when you went to the US trials and did that. How was that? How was the experience for you?
I've been to US trials 2 times. In 2016, my junior year in college, and then just this past year. Which
Okay.
one are you talking about? Or you want to hear about both?
The very
I
first
mean,
one.
Pat,
Obviously, the first
the
one
very
is yeah,
The
the
very
first.
first one.
Yeah.
So the very first one was in 2016. I'm a junior in college, and I just came off of having an explosion sophomore year. So I'm
Mhm.
on a high, and
Yeah.
like like I'm feeling good. Like I said, Pat's been the one guy that's been with me through ups and downs. My freshman year was terrible in college. Like
Mhm.
I was down. I like lost confidence. I was just like running terribly. Things didn't go well, and I had to take some time to myself
Yeah.
to just regroup that confidence. And then
Mhm.
sophomore year, I came back and killed the game. I won Pac-12s. Helped my team win nationals. I took second in NCAA's. Everything was good. So junior year, we're like gonna make that next step. So
Mhm.
I did a. I'm in the middle of the season. I kind of got hurt with my knee.
Mhm.
So it happens, but we started picking things back up, and I started running well again. I took fourth at nationals. Yeah, with that injury, I lost a couple weeks within training,
Mhm.
but for me, I still mentally was ready to go. I was ready for trials. Like we were ready, and I was confident. and we went to that first round because at US trials there's 3 rounds. And I took my first round I took second. And I was like, okay, cool. I was right behind this dude named David Verberg, and I felt good, you know? And so that next day, because it's back to back to back days, that second round, that's the key round. It's everybody runs their best second round. The finals is just war at that point because in 3 days your body is so strong, but that second day is very key. And I went out there, and when I say my body did not give me what my mind thought it was, I had the worst. I had the worst race. It wasn't a moment where I choked. It's just like my body just didn't feel right. And when I went out there, I tried my best to execute, but I just didn't. I was heartbroken. And this is one thing that really shows how much Pat is like been with me, because I tell everybody this, because right after I had that race and I didn't make the Olympic trials, I was out, I was crying. And I come out, you got to come out of the little and crying, and Pat's the first person to just find me. Like, I didn't go look for Pat. He just found me, and he put his shoulders around me. And Pat, he be wearing these shades, but it was the summertime, so he got these black shades. And I'm in Eugene. I'm in Oregon. Everybody knows me, and he doesn't want everybody to see me like bawling my eyes out. So he gets his black shades. He puts it on. He puts it on me, so nobody can see like how red my face is and like how down I was. He got his shoulder around me, and he's just like, "It's gonna be okay. We're gonna be back." And like, just having that person, that rock solid dude that's right there with me, that like means the world to me. Whether no matter what happens, it's like he had my back at my down moment. And so that's why he'll just never understand how much that meant to me. But he was right there. He found me. He said, "We're gonna be all right." He walked me out the stadium, and best believe moving forward, I mean, I had a good senior year, became a professional, and all these different things. And we've had a lot of success, but we still have some things to do in order to make that Olympic team again. But that was kind of that first experience for me.
Which one was best for you? Which one was best for you? The first one, or because I mean,
The second
2020.
2020 didn't go as well due to just injury. I mean, at the end of the day, like, I'm not somebody to make excuses, so I don't want to talk about it too much. It's just with the hurdles of COVID and the hurdles of just not being as healthy as I could, I wasn't able to give it my best.
Gotcha.
And when you're asking to be top 3 in the United States of America in the 400 meters, you have to be healthy. You have to be at your tip top of the game, because United States runs the 400 meters. Like, we're the best country. That's why our 4x4 always wins. So I have to be able to. I have to be able to be the top 5 fastest in the world. Have to, which I know I can, but I have to be fully healthy, and it's just some hurdles that we had to overcome, which we didn't. But I'm still young. I'm still healthy. I'm still ready to go, and we're back at it. We're not quitters. We're not gonna sulk. We're gonna get back to it and keep going. But right now, we're focused on world championships. We're taking 1 year at a time. We got 3 years until the next Olympics. So that's something that's down the line that we will get to. But for now, we're gonna get ready for the world championships in Eugene, where we're gonna have all of our friends, homies, family be down there when I go get that gold medal. But that's kind of how we're taking things right now.
All right. So PAT, what you got next in store for these guys, man? Because I know you're still training. I know you're still working hard and making sure that you got your people ready. What you got in store for them?
Well, most definitely the focus right now, still have a small group, and obviously building behind Marcus. I wanted to use the Olympic year last year as a momentum boost for Marcus. Now that I'm being able to merge with a couple of partners at a place called City of Destiny now, where I have a facility that I'll be able to use, which is where I'm currently at right now. And we've been able to use that, and Marcus has been able to benefit from that because it gets cold out here in the Northwest. And so when it's time for us to, obviously keep our bodies acclimated, to what we're doing, we need the indoors. And the City of Destiny obviously is a place that we've been able to maintain and still build, as well as a connection that I've made as well. A guy by the name of Monzavius Ray Edwards. You probably never heard of him, don't know who he is, but I know who he is. Marcus knows who he is. And he was somebody that actually reached out to me that helped kind of revive, I might say, as far as the way our training was going, because up to this point, I felt like I pushed Marcus as far as I can push him. We've got to dig and try to find now how to get over that next hump. Yeah. And so going at Oregon, we ran at Oregon this past year, and at the Pepsi Invite, and I'm Facebook streaming as anybody knows. Yeah. And there was a guy that was actually watching the race that I was kind of reaching out to. He was putting out these YouTube videos, and so I was hitting him up like, "Hey man, I got a guy that's going to be out here in Oregon. He runs the 400. Hey, you should check him out." And he responded, "What does he run?" "Well, he runs the 400." Not knowing that he was watching the whole time when I went live. As soon as Marcus won the race, he hits me up afterwards, and he's like, "Man, that boy has got too much left in the tank. This is what he needs, to do for his body. He needs this, he needs that." And I'm letting Marcus hear it. And Marcus is like, when I was trying to explain to Marcus in the beginning, Marcus like, "I don't know this dude. Who is this guy?" Like, whatever. And I'm like, "Yo, this could be our help." I'm reaching out to him. We're flying out to Houston. I'm still trying to reach out to this guy. We're flying to California. I'm like texting, and Marcus didn't understand what I was doing until that guy went and hit us back and said, "Hey, you can come down here with us. Mm-hmm. I can help you, and I would like to, if anything, not take over the program, but I'd like to help and assist to where you guys can go ahead and you could definitely, I'd like to help because he's got what it takes." And so I accepted it. That's why you saw us flying all over the joint to Atlanta, Florida, Texas and whatnot. Yeah. That was because of Ray Edwards. And, he's got something on YouTube right now that's obviously putting a lot of attention towards track and field. And I'm blessed and just so thankful every day that he's a lifesaver. He was a lifeline that actually, extended this to where Marcus is stronger than he is right now. Mm-hmm. We spent the whole September not eating anything. As far as red meat or anything, no bread, no dairy, none of that. Just fruits and vegetables the whole 30 days. Come on, man. That takes a lot of self-discipline. And then to turn around.
I lost 12 pounds.
He lost 12 pounds in the process.
12 pounds doing that, yep. Mm-hmm.
And then making it all back the next month, being on a Presbyterian diet and doing things that, he's able to get back lean muscle. So in order for you to have an efficient, like what the phrase I'd like to use, a Bugatti, you're not going to put Arco gas in a Bugatti. You're going to put the right gas that a Bugatti is supposed to have in order for it to perform and do the things that it's supposed to do. And that's what we needed to do with Marcus. We needed to flush his system, all the bad habits or whatever it was, and get him pure to where now he's got nothing but pure, solid, efficient fuel energy to where he's going to be able to be faster and stronger than he's ever been. And right now we're on the right pace.
That's awesome. Yep. So I got a question for you. This is just random. I was just thinking about it. But if you guys had to go out outside right now and race each other from one block to the next, who's going to win?
Oh, that's me, of course. What kind of question is that? Shoot, if Pat could beat me right now, I'm telling you right now, we're a long ways from where we're trying to go. Shoot, I'll tell you
that. He's even beating me in the miles now. I can't even get him in miles no more.
We did some miles too, and it's that time. I mean,
he can run an 800 and sub 150 now. Yeah.
That's good, man. Yeah. That means you're doing the real work, because you don't really hear about sprinters really being able to hit those 2 miles or 1 mile or even 800s. They're involved in them, but they ain't winning them though. That's cool. That's really cool. Well, good for you, man.
But with Pat's help, though, I'm in the best shape of my life. So
that's awesome.
Hey, and I also gotta make a correction. Earlier in your little intro, you said I'm one of the fastest dudes from the hill. I'm the fastest from the hill,
My
bro.
bad.
I gotta let that be
I
known. Like,
apologize for
there
That
that.
ain't
is
nobody
cool.
I
from the
do
hill faster than me,
apologize.
bro.
The
I just have to
fastest.
say that out there. Like,
That was
come
my
on,
bad. That was my
come
bad.
Oh,
on.
yeah.
Yes,
Just trying to
hmm
respect the people that came before
yes,
us, and
Yeah.
that's just me. You
yes.
know what I'm saying?
When it's all said and done, I'll be the fastest dude to ever come out of Washington.
Hey,
That's where we're going.
just like that. Drop it.
Hmm
So, guys, real quick before we get going, we got about 8 more minutes, and so what I wanted to do. This is November. It's Thanksgiving month, and I wanted to throw this out to you guys and have both of you guys answer this question. Um,
hmm
what is one thing that you're truly thankful for this year? You know, either one of you guys can go at
Good,
it. Take a
good
stab at it.
health. Good health, obviously, is the key. Obviously, being coming out of this COVID pandemic
Oh
and
yeah.
things of that nature, it's caused a lot of divisiveness. It's caused a whole bunch of just ideas and theoretical opinions that have
Mhm.
caused friendships to go south. And vice versa, and especially when it's your own people, especially being African American, we have enough as is just dealing with society, in itself. But when we're tearing down our own people just based off of an opinion, something that we truly don't even know, and just the reaction of people just going crazy over that, it's been scary. And a lot of people, that I've surrounded myself with, we've actually, had conversations to where we can get an understanding of what's going on, but we also at the same time look about taking care of one another. And that's something that has just been a simplicity on my end, but I use Marcus as a tool for that, which is the reason why we're able to be where we're at, and we're able to get a lot of things going. So shout out to once again to those people that are taking care of everyone, having good health, and just support each other financially, because as the inflation and money goes up, for some strange reason, our pay doesn't go up, and we got to work twice as hard, which is why you see me doing what I do.
Yeah.
But I work the jobs that I want to work because I move by the beat of my own drum. I'm not going to have no corporate person telling me, or having me work and act like a robot. And
Yeah.
I'm constantly working, constantly over and over, doing the same routine and never getting ahead. I mean, I just never heard anybody that goes to work, working a 9 to 5 and becoming rich. Let's get that out of our mind, because that's not the reality. And so what I've done was create opportunities outside of that. And I brought a lot of people that are slowly starting to see what's going on, especially right now being here at the City of Destiny. We have a great opportunity right now with Marcus, where there's an indoor facility for all kids, not just kids but adults, that can come up in here and they can train. So if anybody that's on this show today that wants to know more information, you could definitely hit myself up or Marcus on the Facebook or Instagram, and we
Mhm.
will give you the information. And if you want to be able to grow and succeed, this is how you do it. But it's not going to come overnight. And I tell you right now, our time ain't free, but we're not cheap. We're not expensive, but we're reasonable enough to know exactly what people need to get them going on to the next level. So
Absolutely.
other than that, that's it. Just finance and health. Sorry to give you a long-winded answer, but
No,
I
you
can
good. You
definitely when it
good.
comes
You
to that.
good. You good. What
Yeah,
about you,
you all
Marcus?
good. For me, I just want to also, I'm not, that health is key. So, health, thankful for good health, but also for me, I would definitely say thankful for support. For me, I have a really strong, not just friend base, but just the community of Tacoma, of that
Mhm.
support system. I mean, everybody don't tries to do things themselves, just try to stay in their own little box to just get to where they want to go. But sometimes you just need that support.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need that friend to talk to bounce ideas off of, and different things like that. Sometimes you just need somebody else. You see that they're grinding, you're grinding too, so you guys are pushing each other to get to where you guys want to go. I mean, my friend group, nobody else wants to be an Olympian, but they all want to be the best in their respective jobs. And so we all push each other in our own ways. We all support each other in our own ways. So to be able to have not just friends, but a whole community that does that, I'm very thankful for that.
That's amazing. Absolutely. So, Marcus, let me ask you this one question real quick, and then I'm gonna close up here in a minute. But
Yep. Ask away.
let's say some young kid comes up to you. They hear you have a
Hmm.
conversation with a bunch of kids, and they come up to you afterwards, and they're like, "I'm playing three different sports. I love baseball, I love track, I love football.
Hmm.
My coach says I'm better at football than I am at track, and my baseball coach says I'm better at baseball than I am at all the rest of them. I don't know what to do, but I really love running track. What are you telling them?"
I would tell that young individual, first off, follow your heart. You have to follow your heart. Whether your friends, whether your parents want you to do a specific sport, whether your coach thinks you want you to do a specific sport, it really don't matter. You have to follow your heart because at the end of the day, sports is supposed to make you happy.
Yeah.
Sports is supposed to be your home. Sports is supposed to just bring you that joy. And so you can't ever let somebody pressure you into choosing a specific sport.
Mm-hmm.
Now, depending on the age of the individual, I would tell them, like, if they're kind of younger, it's like you have time to
Yeah.
still try out all these
Absolutely.
different sports. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like, you have time to try out these different sports because some of the major sports are in different seasons. So go ahead, go play your baseball, go play your soccer, go play your basketball, football, whatever it is. Give yourself a chance to enjoy time with your friends because at the end of the day, we got to have fun. But like,
Yeah.
once you start getting older, that's when you just start following your heart. Yeah, you do got to understand, hey, if you're trying to go to college and get a scholarship in certain things, you do need to kind of look at, hey, how am I doing in this sport?
Mm-hmm.
But I would still tell that young individual, follow your heart, but when you follow it, choose that sport that you truly love, and you have to grind. And the
Yeah.
grind isn't a hard work thing. It's hard work and dedication.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a journey. Like Pat said, it doesn't come overnight. Nothing comes overnight. Basketball, your jump shot's not going to come overnight.
Yeah.
Football, your movements aren't going to come overnight. Track, your speed's not going to come overnight. It's a long process that you have to be dedicated to because at the end of the day, a lot of kids want to be the fastest man in the world. A lot of kids want to be the next Michael Jordan. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
kids want to be the next Deion Sanders, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to put in the work and you have to put in the long hours. You have to make sacrifices. Like in high school, I had to give up spring breaks because I wanted to be a state champion.
Yeah.
I didn't get to go to Disneyland with my parents and stuff like that. That's why when it came to state, I was ready to go. And now I'm not saying that other people didn't make those sacrifices, but those are certain little things that you have to do in order to get that full ride scholarship. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
I would just tell that youngster, depending on the age, just follow your heart. But when you follow your heart, you have to truly stay committed and you have to work hard. And it's not about working hard
Yeah.
when you want. It's about working hard every single moment of your training.
Absolutely.
And if they follow those things, hey, sky's the limit for them.
Pat, you got anything you want to jump in there?
Pretty much, it was pretty much covered, and I'm glad that Marcus did say that about support, and I'd be totally dismissive or disrespectful if I didn't mention the people that have supported me because it wasn't just me. Obviously, my brother Sean Boyd, my dad, Gilbert Boyd, rest in peace. That a lot of shoes I didn't know I could feel, and there's still some shoes that I still got to feel. But I'm not the heavy recruiter like he was. Hey, come on,
Yeah.
young lady,
Yeah.
you want to run track? Those type of things.
Yeah.
But I do have that passion of finding. That inner person, that inner child, and being able to bring the best out of them. And that the only way substituting that replaced that to help me to still be consistent was through Shelman Simpson. I gotta keep mentioning his name because he was the only person who instilled in me through Marcus by saying, if you want this guy to be good, I'm going to give you everything that I can, but I want him to learn through you. I've got enough kids that, listen to me, and I can control the whole narrative if I want to. I want him to listen to you. And that was his main thing. I want him to know who you are because you are a good coach. And so that was something that he always instilled in me. And Marcus, and he'll tell, we kind of short on time now, but Marcus was in high school. He was having a speed bump because when I first became the head coach, I told these guys, I told the team, we're not going to win the league. We're not going to win state. Matter of fact, Lincoln is going to win it. And they were like, huh? But they didn't know that my mentor coach was coaching over there. Yeah. And there was a guy named Quardell Satterwhite at the time that kind of had Marcus's number until he realized when he thought that he was bigger than the sport, let alone the knowledge, and he thought that he can go and play basketball and then come back and still run track. Oh, that was his greatest mistake, because Marcus saw the reality in that and saw, hey, if I just lock in and just do what you were telling me, I can actually beat this guy. And that's what ended up happening. Quardell was never the same ever since then. As a matter of fact, Quardell, he still kind of held on and went to UW, but track was never the same for him after it was taken away from him from Marcus. And that's just something that, once again, I appreciate the support factor through him, which has allowed me to be with Marcus and have the relationship that I have, driving all the way up to Eugene, on my own dime, driving, wherever Marcus was at, obviously anywhere in Washington, I'd be here, but driving out to Eugene, flying out, to different places and just being in his corner. Even if I couldn't get in the stadium, I'm right there knowing exactly what's going on, and I know exactly how to get to you afterwards. So that's my little bro. And I've got a lot of kids. I love all the kids, all the kids that I've coached. I love them all. But Marcus really set the example and set the standard. Him on the male side, I have a female version, but on the male side, Marcus set that standard, and I'm appreciative of that. And now I got kids knocking at the door. They're wanting to come in. They're wanting to train, and they're excited for the opportunity, not knowing where they can go, but they know they're going to be better than where they are. And I appreciate for the circle talk. I appreciate the fact that
man, thank you.
I saw you when you first started this thing, and little do you guys know about David, because for you, and I always wanted to say this, because we grew up in the church, we sang in the choir and stuff, but I did not know you were that actual singer until we were at a concert, and you were with this little quartet, and you had the little white boy that sang the bass, and I was like, you guys sang Sweet Low, Sweet Chariot. I still remember that in my head.
Come on, then. Okay.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Hey, bro. But you gotta think though. When we came up, it seemed like all the people that we were around, they all could sing.
They all could. Well, I couldn't sing. I couldn't sing. I played the drum.
I'm saying, Jamel and Ken Lowe's, the Witherspoons, the Hills. I mean, they all could sing.
Yes,
I just kind of.
And can play, because all the best musicians came from Jerusalem. They came from Tacoma. Yeah. Phil Curry, Neil Jones, Pat Hill, Jason Kinlow, David Hart. I mean, the Linton Weems, the Andre Weems. The list goes on and on.
Steven Weems, throw him in there too. Man, the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
I was just a little guy. Just trying to fit in at that time, and so I just did it, in the little slick way, and at school. But man, I appreciate that, man, for throwing that out there. But I've been singing my whole life, and I've been playing sports and running track too, and that's why I really thought this would be a great connection for us to, have this conversation. So I thank you both for what you guys are doing. You guys are amazing ambassadors for not only the sport, but for the town. Keep doing what you're doing.
253.
Right? Yes, all day, every day.
All day.
Keep doing what you guys are doing. I'm excited to see what's coming next with you, Marcus, and you, Pat. We need to hang out, obviously get together and, do a dinner or something like that. Fellas. I do have some mugs for you guys too. I got a couple of these mugs for you.
Yeah, cool. Heck yeah.
Because that's what I do. I try and make sure everybody that comes on gets a mug afterwards. So thank you so much for being a part of Circle Talk today. We're going to close up shop, y'all. Thank you so much for watching us. On behalf of Circle Talk, it's your guy, DH Pat Boy, Marcus Chambers. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace.
Appreciate you.